Let's now see how we can write YAML format. For this format, we will use third-party library. So because of that, we must declare and create our go.mode file so we can specify that library inside of our require sector. Our go.mode file will look like this. Let's now write first example. For this example, we will import our YAML.v2 library inside of our import section, and after that, we will create a new structure person. As we can see, for YAML format, we will use also tags. Tags are supported for JSON and for YAML format. Let's see how we can create from our specific structure YAML format. Inside of our main function, we will create a new variable p with data type person. Now, we want to access our YAML library and we want to call Marshal function. To that function, we will pass our p variable. So basically, logic of this Marshal is the same like we wrote JSON format. When we print our new variable, we will see list of bytes. If we want to print string value of that new variable, we will see output like this. We can see specific key, which is our tag for YAML file, connected to our specific variable from our person structure. We can write this YAML to our new file. We will call our writeFile function from our IOUtil library, so we can create specific file with YAML extension. We will assign specific content to that file, and we will also assign permissions for that file. Let's now execute our application. We can see output of our application, and we also see that we have created new file. Let's open that file. In our new file, file1.yaml, we can see two new keys and values which we assigned to those keys. Let's now create example with much more complex structure. For this example, we will create a new structure, developer. Inside of our structure, we have integer, we have string, we have float, we have slice, and we have map data types. Inside of our main function, we will create a new variable, d, as data type developer with pointer. We will assign new values to that object. Let's now again call our Marshal function from our YAML library. At this point, we converted our structure to our YAML format. Now, let's write that format to new file. Our new YAML format will be written to our new file, file2.yaml. Let's now execute our application so we can see data inside of our new file. We can close our terminal and open our new file. We can see how our YAML format describe specific data type. So, for string, we will type values under quotes. Number data types will be described without quotes, only with specific numbers. On tasks key, we can see how we described a list of our string values, while on daily hours, we see how we described our list of our integers. Also, in our languages key, we can see how we can describe multiple objects as new maps inside of our specific key. Let's now see how we can write YAML format when we have list of multiple objects with same data type. For this example, we will create a new structure, company. We want to create YAML format in which we can describe many different companies. For that, we must create new structure. This structure will be company group with one attribute. This attribute will have data type of slice of company structures. Also, for this case, this slice will have a new tag for our YAML file, and that value will be companies. Let's now create two new variables, C1 and C2, as data type company with pointer inside of our main function. After that, we will create a new variable, list, which will be data type of our company group with pointer. We want to assign our C1 and C2 variables to value of our company's attribute inside of our list variable. We will access our list variable, then we will open values of our company's attribute, and with function append, we will add values from our C1 and C2 pointers to our company's slice inside of our list variable. After that, with Marshall function, we will take our list variable and transform that structure into YAML format. After we finished creating our new YAML format, then we will take that format and write into our new file. We will do that with function write file from our IOUtil library. Let's now execute our application and open our new file. In our new file, file3.yaml, we can see that we have one global key as value companies. Inside of that key, we have a list of many different companies. So in this case, we have two objects in which we described two different companies. Each of these objects has specific values assigned to their attributes. So now we understand how we can describe a list of objects of specific structure. Let's now see how we can read from our YAML format. First, we will create a new file with YAML extension and we will put new data in that file. This will be data which we want to load from our YAML file. Let's now see how we can do that. For this example, we will create a new structure, engineer. We want to load our data from our file 4 and transform that data to our structure, engineer. We will create a new variable, f, with data type engineer with pointer. Then, with our function read file, we will read file 4. Then our reader will create a new variable source. That variable will be our data from our file in YAML format. Then, with function unmarshal from our YAML library, we will transform that source to slice of bytes, and we want to unmarshal that data to a location of our f variable. After that, we can access our f variable and we can print specific values from that object. If we print values from our languages attribute from our f object, output will be this specific map. Let's now write another example in which we will read more complex YAML. First, we will create a new file from which we will load our data. That file will be file 5. This will be data which we want to load. Now, let's write implementation so we can read this YAML. For this example, first we will create two new structures, dir and files and instance config. After these two structures, we will also create third. Third structure will be instance structure, where we will have embedded types from our previous two structures. Third and fourth attribute of our instance structure will have data types of our previous two structures. Let's now see how we can load our data from our YAML file to our instance structure. For this example, we will create a new function, and that function will read for us specific file, and after that it will put all data on specific location. In our read instance YAML function, we will have two input variables. First variable will be location of our file, and second input variable will be instance structure with pointer. Inside of our function, first we will read specific file. Then, after that, we will take our source1 variable to unmarshal that YAML to specific object. But now we want to take location of our second input variable as alias obj. That's how we will unmarshal our source1 variable immediately to location of our second input variable. Let's now execute this implementation inside of our main function. Inside of our main, we will create a new variable f of data type instance. We want to call our read instance YAML function. We passed two values to this function. First value will be name of our file from which we want to load our data, and second input variable will be specific location of our instance structure. So in this case, we will pass location of our f variable. After we execute our read instance YAML function, that function will change value of our f variable on specific place. If we print config file attribute from our instance structure, output will look like this. YAML format is very useful when we want to load specific kind of data and we want to create many different formats of configuration files for our databases and servers.